Morning, guys. Welcome back to the Journals of the Yurt. What I thought I would do today is this weekend, we actually shot that Survival Adventure Network shoot over the weekend, and then I took a couple of days over the holidays to spend time with friends. I had two guests in the Yurt here all weekend, Tony Daniel and Ryan Eves, both instructors at Pathfinder School. And we took some time for some R&D, and we shot a video on R&D using match heads in place of black powder or shotgun shells. And we just went around and we did some things. And I'd like to do a video that I'm going to call Stock and Trade. And you have to realize that, back in the day, trade networks were huge. Anything from, the days of the Woodland Indians and before that even, all the way through the frontier era, trading and trade networks were huge. So going out and trading with people and going out and finding things that you can buy at discount prices is a big deal when it comes to self-reliance. And so this weekend I spent a little bit of time with Tony Daniel and Ryan Eves, and we went out and we did some things that were related to, finding resources on the cheap, basically. And also we did some trading, and I got some nice stuff, and we did a little bit of work on a shotgun. I wanted to show you a trick that Tony Daniels did to one of my shotguns. And I picked up a new shotgun as well. We went to a gun show. We did some trading there. We did some scrounging there and some buying there. And I kind of want to show you all the stuff that I've kind of picked up this weekend and tell you what, I paid for it and things like that, so you can see how cheap you can get the things that you need for self-sustained living or for self-reliance. So stay with me. I'm going to go over here on the bunk. I got it all laid out, and we'll look through it one piece at a time. Okay, guys, I'm going to try not to get in the way of this stuff and overshadow it too much. I got a lot of stuff laid out here on this bunk from the weekend. So first of all, let's talk about some of the stuff that we did as far as trade goes. Okay, and now let's remember, first of all, when we talk about some of the foodstuffs that are here, that there's a difference between what was called groceries and what was called sundries. Okay, sundries were anything that you could get very commonly. So flour, salt, things like that, those were sundries. Okay, groceries was really fancy stuff. It was stuff that was imported, that was harder to get, that was higher end, import-export type stuff. Sugars, sugar cane, muscavadas, spices, those things were all considered a grocery because they were harder to get. So don't mistake those two terms when I'm talking about what I'm saying here. As far as foodstuffs go, I've got some friends who live out of state and that came in this weekend to visit me, and they brought me some of what I would consider groceries for my area because I don't have immediate access to it. Now, honey with the comb in it, I can get it, okay? But it's not immediately accessible to me where I can just go to Walmart and pick it up. I would have to go find someone who raises bees, and I know some people that do, but they don't have any honey right now. So they brought me some honey with the comb in it. That would be considered a grocery for me and a great trade item, and I really appreciate that. They also brought me some pork side here that's been smoked pork side. I can open this up and it'll be okay. It's just been cryoed in here and sealed for right now. But again, another great trade item, and for me, this would be considered, a grocery, not a sundry, because it's not something I have immediate access to. For me, I've got chickens, I've got rabbits, I've got goats, I've got guinea fowl, I've got pheasants, I've got quail, but I don't have hogs. So to get pork like this for me, I can't go buy smoked pork sides at the grocery store or at what they call the grocery store, which really is a store full of everything from sundries to groceries, but I can't get this, so to me this is a grocery and another great trade item for me, and I really appreciate, the Eves bringing this stuff to me. These cinnamon sticks are Central American cinnamon sticks, so they're really good cinnamon, they're not the junky stuff, and these were $1.99 at a discount store. So I picked these up as well. There's a lot of cinnamon that can be ground off of those sticks. So while we're on the subject of that discount store, let's talk about a couple other things I found there. I found these marbles at that discount store, 100 for $1. You can get them at Walmart sometimes for that price too, but 100 for $1 is a good price, and I'd never pass that up. These can be used for everything from slingshot ammunition to shotgun ammunition. I found these candles, and we burnt some of these a little bit this week messing around with them, but these candles were 2 for $1. I don't think you could buy that tin for 50 cents anywhere off the internet. And it had a soy candle in it that seems to burn for hours on end. We've got 3 of these we've been burning in the Yurt for probably 3 days now, and they're not, they're worn down, but they're none the worse for wear. They got a lot of time left in them. And then I've got the tin when they're done, and these 3 candles were 50 cents a piece. So for $1.50, you can't beat that. Okay. One more thing I wanted to talk to you about the discount store real quick was fabric. You know, we found some fabric at the discount store. This is just kind of a tweed cottony stuff right here with some felting in it. And Ryan made me a couple nice pouches out of this stuff, and he kept some of it for himself. And that's kind of how you do things. You trade back and forth, pass on the skills. And so Ryan made me a nice ditty bag pouch. He made me a pouch for my headlamp that actually has a compartment inside the pouch to hold a set of spare batteries right there, which I think is really nice. And then he also made me a pouch just for that actually fits an Altoids tin with a flap on it, so you could actually put, you know, a square spool of bank line inside this, and then have like your fishing and snaring and trapping kit inside this Altoid tin, and have that in one container like that. I think that's what's good about these Altoid tins. For specific kits, they're good. For an all-in-one kit, not so good. But for, you know, a fishing kit, a trapping, snaring type kit, an emergency fire starting kit, I think they're good for that. So I appreciate Ryan making those for me. They turned out really good. And again, you know, that's one of those trade things. You know, I do stuff for him, he does stuff for me, and that's how you do things to become self-reliant. Tony Daniel actually made me this river cane candle mold, and it's split halfway down, or 3/4 of the way down to the node down here. And you just, you know, hang your wick inside there, pour your wax in there, and then you just open it up, and the candle will split right out of it. You can pull the candle straight out. You just wrap it around with string to seal it before you pour the candle into it. It's a real nice little handy candle mold that I can keep around the yurt here, and it'll do me a lot of good making candles out of tallow as well as beeswax. Also at that discount store, these are heavy-duty Quilters pins. I mean, these are like diaper pins, the heavy-duty stuff. And I think I got these for $1.29 for 40 of them, which is really a good price because they're hard to find now. And these things can be used for everything from fish hooks to making prongs for your fishing arrows, for gigs, to, you know, trap components, to first aid. I mean, you can use them for a lot of stuff. So that's a really good price. I picked those up as well. So now let's talk for a minute about one more thing I got that I'm testing right now. And, you know, Ryan's mom raises alpacas, and she brought me some stuff to test. We're going to trial it. These are heavy boot alpaca socks. These are made out of alpaca wool. I have worn a pair of these for the last couple of days, and they're very good. She brought me like 4 pair to test and trial to see if we want to sell these on our website. Again, that's how you know, get trading and commerce done, and that's how you become more self-reliant. You have something that I want, you have something that maybe I can sell in my general store. Let me see what it is, let's see what the cost is, let's see what the durability and quality is, and we'll go from there. She also brought me an alpaca blanket. It's got a few dreadlocks on it that I'm not real fond of right here, but we can cut those right off. But it's a heavy-duty alpaca wool blanket, and she's going to see if she can get me something even heavier than this. This one is a twin size. She's going to see if she can get them in queen, but this would make a real good, you know, once you cut these tassels off of it, it would make a real good match coat type wool blanket. That's very light. Alpaca wool is very light. This one's got a few designs in it. It's not solid brown, but it's all browns. So I like that real well. I'm going to try that out. Okay, so let's get to stuff from the gun show. We went to a gun show this weekend, did some trading, did some buying. One of the things that I picked up, you know, I saw this ammo pouch laying on a table, and it's got Japanese writing on the inside of the flap, and I looked at that pouch and I was like, man, I'll bet that thing would hold 12 gauge shells just perfect. So I went to another table, grabbed the 12 gauge shell from a guy, brought it back over, tested it out, checked it out. It's like brand new condition, saddle stitched leather. I asked the guy what he wanted for it. He said $10. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to haggle with you too much on that. $10 is a fair price for a piece of hand-stitched saddle leather. And I got this thing home, and it fits 12 shotgun shells absolutely perfect. So it's got heavy belt straps on it where you can put it on a belt. And I just think that's a dandy piece of gear for $10. You couldn't make that thing for $10. There's no question in my mind about it. So that was a fair price to me. This stainless steel canteen, dated 1953, Korean War vintage era. It's got a really good, nice seal in it. It doesn't stink. It's nice and shiny. The guy shined it up real well for me before I bought it. $10. You know, he wanted 12. I offered him 10. He took it. Barter and trade. You know, you just, that's the way you do things. You know, he wants 12. Okay, well, you take 10. Yeah, he'll take 10. You buy it. I'm not going to quibble $10 for a heavy-duty stainless steel water container because a guy designed bottle costs 25. And this thing is just as bulletproof beyond a shadow of a doubt. My hope is it'll fit a canteen cup, but I don't know that yet. I haven't tested it. This oil bottle right here from a Mosin Nagant or some type of German weapon. These are pretty common to find at gun shows. I picked this one up for $1. It's a stainless steel container that I can fill with tallow, and that's exactly what I did. I filled it with tallow that was melted down, and then I covered it up. Now, it's not going to ever leak because that tallow is solid in there, but I can put this next to the fire. I can pour the tallow out onto a rag, grease my tools, grease my weapons, use it as a coal extender. I can use it for all the things we talked about usefulness of tallow for, and I've got it in this container that's not going to go bad, it's not going to break, it's not going to rot, it's not going to leak, and it's right there, you know, in my kit all the time in a nice, neat compartment. So I like that really well, and I paid $1 for that. I couldn't believe I got that for $1. That was one of my favorite deals of the weekend. The next thing I found was, I found this double barrel Stevens 12 gauge coach gun here. 2 triggers, double barrel, 12 gauge. It's in good condition. It's real nice shape. It's got the 2 triggers on it. It's got a safety on it. Just a heavy duty coach gun. But for 12 gauge, you know, we've talked on the videos before. We've talked a little bit, you know, on the discussion boards. A follow-up shot's never going to be a bad thing. So I thought, well, you know, for a good camp defense gun or a good canoe gun, a double barrel's the way to go. And I picked this one up in trade. I got a really good deal on it, so I'm really happy with it. And like I said, it's a Stevens 12 gauge double barrel. One of the projects that we worked on this weekend when Tony was here is Tony had an idea to put a container into a 12 gauge shotgun. So what we did was we took one of my canoe guns, one of my 12 gauge canoe guns, my H&Rs, and he actually cut a slot in it with a router in a jig that fits an Altoid tin just perfect. Okay, now what you have the ability to do is you never have to take this buttstock off, because you can put a 12 gauge shell here, a 12 gauge shell here, fits perfectly. Either an adapter on both sides, or maybe an adapter and a shotgun shell. So maybe you put a 12 to 410 here, 12 to 22 here. You got a little cavity space here. You could roll a bag of 22 shells up right there if you wanted to. Put this Altoid tin, whatever you've got in it. This one happens to be a fire kit. Put one of those Allen sleeves over the top of this that holds 5 shotgun shells to hold it in there. And you've got, you know, 15 or 16 shots right there on your gun. Very simple. So I thought that was a really grand idea. We went ahead and cut that in there to see how it looked. It fits perfect. And like I said, it comes out real easy. It fits in there perfect, just like that. And all I need to do is put that sleeve around it that holds the shotgun shells for $5 or $6 off the internet, made by Allen, to hold that in there. And it's not coming out. It's not going anywhere, but it's always there when I need it. So it's kind of like a little extra kit on my gun. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. So we did that this weekend as well. But I wanted to kind of share some of that stuff with you guys and share a little bit of what I call stock and trade this weekend that we did. We had a really good time. We enjoyed ourselves. I'm going to get back on these Journals of the Yurt here directly. I've had my vacation now. It's time to get back to work. So I appreciate you guys joining me for another video. I really appreciate your support, and I really appreciate everything that you guys have done for the Pathfinder School, for me, myself, and for my family in 2011. And 2012 promises to be a better year of learning and passing on the tribal knowledge. So thank you very much.